Hello students, it's been a while since I've had a chance to deliver one of my lectures, and we are starting to move towards the end of the semester when you're moving towards your revisions. Obviously right now you're working on the emotional plotting of your story as you sort of think about the inner machinations that are going on in the story, the inner drive, the emotional drive, what the emotional beats are, not just the external skin of the story in a sense. And obviously that's going to be due next Monday. So you're going to have one more short assignment that's again aimed toward helping you with your final revisions of the stories. I know that some of you, your stories haven't come up yet, but I still think this is really good work for you to do now that your stories have had a chance to sort of sit and cool on the page. So what we're going to do is we're going to return to one of the concepts that I think a number of you haven't really had a chance to amplify or do as much, which is this whole idea of using significant detail, this whole idea of using all the senses to describe and give us a sense of the world that you are creating. I've noticed in a lot of your stories that we actually get very little setting. We don't actually see very much. And there's a lot of different ways to think about what we want to see. I mean, there's the seeing, there's the placement in the setting that gives us a sense of where we are. But as we talked about earlier in the semester, there's the way in which the choices you make, the word choices, will actually also help in terms of what kind of mood you want to create in your story. Remember, going back to our first short story that we read, the 548, and how setting was used and the kinds of choices, the water that was greasily coming down on his shirt collar, the use of the rain, all of that helped create a kind of menacing mood. The third way sort of seeing helps us is that it establishes point of view, how a character sees something, how they characterize it, gives us a sense of their perspective. So this can really work very nicely in tandem with the emotional plotting you're using, where in fact you may not have a character say, I'm upset, but rather the way they're looking at a room or the way they're looking at another person gives us that indicator, that sense of what the internal emotions are. So your next assignment is to take one passage in your story and to rewrite it with an eye towards really giving us the environment, towards letting us really see it. I asked you guys to take a look at the chapter by Janet Barway called Seeing is Believing. Really, that's your aim as a fiction writer. Seeing is helping us to believe this fictional world. And that's what I'd like all of you to pay much more attention to. So you're going to take this one passage where you're aware, oh my goodness, I really didn't do very much in the area of evoking the world or description or setting. I didn't really flesh this out for the reader. And you are going to rewrite that passage. Now, what's going to happen is that is due on December 1st. What will then happen is just your partner, the person that you had been paired up with in the story discussions, just that person will respond to your revision, and vice versa, of course. And you'll just have 2 days. Please respond.